Chapter 3, Breath and Water. The Gateways to Life and Healing. Take a slow breath. Really. Notice what happens. Did your shoulders soften? Did your jaw relax? Now, take a sip of water. Did you realize you were thirsty? Most of us move through our days without paying much attention to either one. Yet breath is the very first thing we do when we enter this world. And water becomes one of our lifelong companions from that moment forward. They're so ordinary that we often overlook how extraordinary they really are. Before we explore earth medicines, I'd like to invite you to become friends with two of the greatest medicines you've had access to your entire life: your breath and water. Our first home. Before we even breathed the air, we lived in water. Long before your first cry, you floated peacefully in the gentle embrace of your mother's womb. Surrounded by amniotic fluid, your tiny lungs practiced breathing movements before they ever inhaled a single breath of air. Oxygen reached you through the placenta, but your body was already preparing for life outside. Water was your first home. Breath patiently waited for its moment. Perhaps that's one reason they both feel so familiar. Sometimes I smile when I think about it. In a way, we all begin as little water dwellers before becoming air breathers. Then we spend the rest of our lives forgetting to drink enough water and wondering why we don't feel our best. It's almost comical. Considering we're made mostly of water, many of us wander through life functioning like slightly dehydrated raisins, surviving on coffee, stress, and good intentions. Our bodies deserve much better than that. A living miracle. Sometimes I pause in absolute amazement that we are, in many ways, beautifully organized bodies of water, held upright by a living framework of bone. Calcium branches reaching toward the sky, while gravity patiently invites us back to the earth from which we came. Every step we take is a quiet conversation between heaven and earth. Our hearts pump. Our lungs expand. Tiny electrical impulses travel through billions of cells. Without asking for our permission, life continues expressing itself through us every moment of every day. The more I pay attention, the more miraculous the ordinary becomes. Breath is a conversation. Breath is so much more than oxygen. It reflects our emotions. It influences our nervous system. It supports our heart, digestion, and ability to remain present. Have you ever noticed that when you're startled, you'd instinctively stop breathing? When you're anxious, your breath becomes shallow. When you're deeply relaxed, it naturally slows. Your breath is constantly telling the story of your inner world. The beautiful part is that the conversation works both ways. Just as your emotions influence your breathing can gently influence your emotions. A slow inhale, an even slower exhale. Sometimes that's enough to remind your body that in this moment you are safe. Breath during ceremony. Earth medicines often amplify whatever is already present within us. When experiences become intense, the mind may begin searching for certainty, while the body wants to contract. This is where breath becomes one of your greatest allies. Not because it removes every difficult moment, because it reminds you that you're still here, still breathing, still capable of meeting whatever arises, one breath at a time. I've learned this lesson personally. I once became so absorbed in an experience that I unconsciously held my breath long enough to faint. Apparently, even profound spiritual experiences benefit from remembering to inhale. Thankfully, my body has an excellent sense of humor. Water is relationship. Water does far more than quench thirst. It nourishes every cell, supports every organ, carries nutrients, regulates temperature, participates in nearly every process that keeps us alive. For thousands of years, cultures throughout the world have honored water with reverence and gratitude. Whether you choose to offer a prayer before drinking, pause for a moment of appreciation, or simply become more mindful with each sip, something changes when water becomes more than something you consume. It becomes something you enter into relationship with. Minerals matter. Hydration isn't simply about drinking more water. Your body also relies on minerals to move that water where it's needed. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, and dozens of trace minerals help regulate nerve function. Muscles, hydration, and countless other biological processes. Many people preparing for ceremony find it helpful to focus not only on hydration, but on nourishing themselves with mineral-rich foods and quality electrolytes as well. Listen to your body. If you have a medical condition affecting hydration or electrolyte balance, work with your healthcare provider to determine what's appropriate for you. The air we breathe. Living in the Costa Rican jungle taught me something I never expected. The air itself felt alive. Each breath seemed fuller. The humidity wrapped gently around my skin, and the oxygen-rich forest invited my lungs to expand in ways I had never experienced before. Returning to the Las Vegas desert revealed something equally beautiful. The dry air asked something different of my body. My skin changed. My thirst changed. Even my breathing changed. Neither place was better. They were simply different conversations with the same body. That experience reminded me that we are never separate from our environment. Every breath is an exchange with the living world around us. Every sip of water becomes part of us. Every step upon the earth is supported by the same gravity that has held every living being before us. We are not visitors here. We belong. Begin building your optimal field. Over the next week, I'd like to invite you to practice something beautifully simple. Take one conscious breath before opening your phone. Drink a glass of water before your morning coffee. Walk outside without headphones. Feel the warmth of the sun. Watch the movement of clouds. Stand barefoot on the earth if it's safe to do so. Listen to birds instead of notifications. Notice how your body responds. These aren't chores. They're opportunities to remember your relationship with life. Healing often begins with ordinary moments repeated with extraordinary presence. Another page in your journal. Open your journal once again. Write this question across the top of the page. When do I feel most alive? Don't search for profound answers. Simply begin writing. You may discover it's gardening, swimming, singing, cooking, watching a sunset, laughing with people you love, walking beneath old trees, listening to rain, creating art, sitting quietly beside moving water. Then ask yourself another question. Where do I feel most connected? There are no right answers. You're not completing an assignment. You're discovering the landscape of your own soul. Writing itself is your act of regulation. Thoughts that endlessly circle the mind again begin finding a place to rest. Emotions that felt overwhelming become something you can gently witness. Patterns begin revealing themselves. And without realizing it, you're participating in your own healing. Long before any ceremony, long before any sacred cup, you have already begun. Coming home. One of the greatest misconceptions about healing is that it always requires something outside of ourselves. Something remarkable. Sometimes remarkable teachers appear. Sometimes gifted practitioners. Sometimes sacred plants. And sometimes healing quietly arrives through something much simpler. A conscious breath. A cool drink of water. A walk beneath the trees. A journal filled with honest words. A sunrise. A child's laughter. The feeling of your bare feet touching the earth. These moments may seem small. They're not. They are invitations to remember that you have always been in relationship with life. Your optimal field is not something you find. It is something you cultivate. One breath, one sip, one step, one honest page, one moment of wonder at a time.